Three friends, one amazing series of YA novels, an insatiable thirst to relive the glory that is K.A. Applegate's literary masterpiece. This is Fanimail, the Dork-Bajir Chronicles.
Hello, and welcome to the Speaking Tree, a Dork-Bajir podcast where we read through the Animorphs series one book at a time, then talk about it every week. Today we'll be taking a deeper dive into Animorphs number 37, The Weakness, the book we read last week. My name is Mikhail, the host.
I'm Tessa, the expert.
And I am Brayden, the sexy one.
Oh,
whoa,
man! You can just call the sexy one. I want to be the sexy one.
Okay, maybe not the sexy one, the sexual one.
Okay, that makes more sense.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I mean, we just do some. So first piece of Fanimail comes from At the Slan, superfan. Are we ready to call At the Slan superfan? I think so.
I think so.
So they tweeted at us, I was in a sort of informal work meeting today, and the head guy asked me what my favorite book growing up was. Responded, when I was a kid, I was super into Animorphs. Everyone over 35 was like, what the F is that? And everyone under 35 nodded and smiled approvingly. I'll be honest, I have not mentioned Animorphs even one time at work or really with any other adults in real life.
It's because your name is infinitely more Googleable to come up with this podcast, and you don't want to hand your employer incriminating evidence about who you hang out with.
Yeah, because the end of the Animorphs is like some really controversial political shit that could lose me jobs.
And also, it's very sexual.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I've said a lot of stuff on this podcast I don't necessarily want an employer to hear. Next piece of Fanimail comes from at Elgene Rosetta, who tags us in a very good meme. It's very good. That was not meant to sound like a question. It's a very good meme. Samuel Jackson meme. If you're interested, of course, the show notes will have the links to all our Fanimail, this and previous episodes. But it's essentially a... is it clap back that kids are saying these days?
Kids are saying clap back, yes.
I mean, kids have been saying clap back for a while. I don't know where you've been, Mikhail.
I've been doing adult stuff and not on Snapagram or whatever you guys are using.
Instacum or whatever.
Yeah. Time for our first segment. This might be a short one because I feel like the solution's pretty easy. But this is a segment where we diagnose an issue in the book we read and try to find a more creative and effective solution. So the situation I came up with is, and we kind of talked about this last week, honestly, but how would we have dealt with not having Jake around during Inspector Garbage-Tron's visit? The only caveats being that Jake is, for all intents and purposes,
dead. Like
on the moon, or dead. Well, not dead because they still talk about him in a way, but like basically completely beyond the range of communication that you're able to do. What do you guys think?
Which is like, that's basically any time in the 90s. If you're not in immediate vicinity or near a telephone. Yeah. Okay. I feel like, how about we all three probably have different approaches to this. So how about we all three first go through and say our suggestions and then come up with the perfect one?
Okay. Well, Brayden, why don't you go first?
All right. Well, what I put down is we establish a leaderless democratic system. We determine plans ahead of time, but we do not determine somebody giving orders.
Okay. That's interesting. Let me say mine, and then we'll try to amalgamate everything because I don't think they're necessarily exclusive.
No,
so
yeah.
My thing is in the same vein. So think your actions through to the end, because my biggest issue with how the book ended was that they were like, oh, we made Visser 3 look like it's like he was justified in not being able to vanquish the Andalite bandits, but it's like you don't want the Council of 13 to think it's that hard for Visser 3 because they're just going to send more shit to take you down, right? So if anything, you should be not making him look like he's doing a great job, but also not... Do you know what I mean? There's got to be a middle ground there.
Yeah.
where like he can lose his job, but for his own personal incompetence, not for the fact that it's really hard. Does that make sense?
I believe so.
Also, don't kill the inspector, because like if there was any way to get like generals to send more troops to a front, it's killing the general in charge of that front.
Right? Like the Yeerks are not just going to roll over and play dead now that you killed their guy who was going to be on the council.
Exactly. Jeez.
Okay, I had a two-pronged attack. First one, kind of the obvious one. Jake is gone for literally like 3 or 4 days. Just wait it out. If you don't want to wait it out and you really want to do something because you know the inspector is here and you don't know when he's going to leave, sneak around. Find out some more information first. Be stealthy.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like I didn't even think of that, Mikhail, but when you said, yeah, you're making it look like, okay, the Andalite bandits are actually a huge threat. They're attacking all kinds of place of businesses. They know where all the Yeerks in the city are. No wonder Visser 3 hasn't killed them yet. Let's get Visser 1 here and also 17 tanks that can be invisible. Like, you're just going to make it way harder on yourself.
Invisible tanks. Ooh. That's in my next D&D campaign.
Doesn't Wonder Woman have an invisible tank?
She had an invisible jet.
She had a pair of invisible tanks underneath her shirt. Pew, 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 pew. Because Wonder Woman is famous for being invisible and she had big boobs. That's where that joke is supposed to go.
She's definitely not famous for being invisible. I don't know what.
When has she ever been famous for being invisible?
When she's in the invisible jet. Anyway.
Oh, the whole point is she's not invisible. That's why it's so ridiculous. It's like she's just sitting there and it's flying around her.
Don't tell Jared of what a bad comic book joke I made, okay?
I already texted him. So you're saying don't do anything?
I'm saying they can probably afford to take the weekend off because, like, just let this sort itself out naturally. I feel like if they make any big stink, then, the inspector is like, okay, yeah, your Andalite bandits are a great big huge deal. Let's get you out of here and Visser 1 back in play, or someone even worse than Visser 1, because as I just remember, they don't like Visser 1 right now. So we'll get the new Visser 1 down, somebody you don't even know, who has all kinds of way better tactics than Visser 3.
So that's an interesting question, because like on the one hand it's like, because they always say like better to have the evil you know than the evil you don't, but like the evil you know is a very unique evil in the sense that it's the only Andalite host. Right?
Yeah, but he's also power hungry and flies off on a rampage. Remember book 25? They just had to get a Taxon to knock on his door 3 times, and then he left the room, which let the Animorphs demorph. Like, he's so volatile.
That just gave me a great idea. What if we try to puppet master some situations that will cause Visser 3 to lose whatever self-control he has in front of the inspector and kill his own people? Because we've already learned from Visser, the book, that that's super illegal.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Because that way they wouldn't necessarily send more troops to Earth, but it would still get rid of Visser 3.
But then again, they're going to send somebody who's better at being a general than Visser 3, which is going to be harder to fight against. Okay.
We need to like make a meta point here then. Do you think that Visser 3 is, in fiction, actually a bad general? Or is it just because we are looking in on his stupidity that he looks like a bad general?
I mean, okay, that's fair.
Because that's an important distinction, though.
The Animorphs are still losing the fight, and they talk about that. Like, the Yeerks are still completely winning this whole war.
Also, if like other Yeerks consider him to be a good general, and maybe he actually is the best general they have or could have for this job, getting rid of him seems like a great idea. And like, as bad as the Council of 13 might be, they're not so stupid as to just like let a bumbling idiot run an invasion just because he has an Andalite body. I mean, I would hope they're not.
I'm still worried because Visser 3 has not yet figured out that the kids are human. Someone new might. Like, someone who has a human host body might figure out, okay, these animals that I actually know, like, oh, my actual host body was a zookeeper and actually knows animals. Oh, they might have some connections that we don't even know about that they'd be able to put 2 and 2 together.
Okay, so It sounds like maybe our only solution to this problem is either do literally nothing for the whole weekend and let the inspector just look at what is as it stands, or try to discredit Visser 3 in a way that won't get him fired, but might, like, make them send less troops. Oh, shit. What if there was a way we could make it look like the Yeerk invasion is doing better than it actually is?
So that there's no reason to send more troops?
Or so that they might even cut the budget a little bit, being like, oh, fuck, we're putting way too much resource into this, something that's actually pretty easy to do.
To make it harder for them to pay for the gas to get Visser 3 to Earth to do to do all the extra stuff.
That might be a bit suspicious because it has been taking them a while. What if they made it look like Visser 3 won some critical thing? Like, what if they made it look like all of the quote-unquote Andalite bandits died, like they collapsed a building around them, but actually escaped. And then the council is like, oh, cool. All of the effective resistance is gone. You can half your budget, right?
Right. Actually, that's a good point, because if it just looks like it's going well, it might be like, oh, okay, so we're putting the appropriate amount of resources in to get this thing done. But if it's like, hey, we're hearing reports that this one specific sticking point is causing the entire invasion to halt, and that all of a sudden we've overcome that sticking point. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we can slow the resource burn down a little bit. Also, sending the Garrotron guy. And obviously, they have no problem using the Garrotron, right? Mm-hmm. In the fight. So why not just let him think he killed them?
What if there's also a way that we can provide proof that Visser 3 is wasting resources with the anti-morphing ray and with the special sauce mind control hamburgers? Because those are both expensive projects. Like, you would have had to, petition for, we need an increased budget because I'm going to, buy a whole power plant. Right? So that's a way to discredit him without necessarily getting him fired. Because I think what we want to do is we want to discredit Visser 3 without getting him fired.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We want to make it harder for Visser 3 to keep doing what he's already doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the concept of not getting Visser 3 fired by making it look hard, also not making it look hard at all. Sorry, I said that wrong. Don't
make it look like the Andalite bandits are really easy to kill, and that Visser 3 is just like, you were wasting so much time.
Yeah. No, you say what I was thinking.
I mean, that's what I do. That's like my role on the podcast.
But the problem is you're always wrong when you say what I'm trying to think. So it's sort of counter-effective.
Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was saying, the point is to leave Visser 3 in power, but also do one or more of these three things, which is make it look like he's wasting resources. And I think he has, the ethics, like you said, the ethics chemical or whatever, not ethics, free will chemical, the anti-morphing ray. And I'd like to think that he also burned way too much money on Taylor's fake arm.
Oh, for sure. And her facial reconstruction surgery also.
Yeah, which is wasn't the only reason she did that was because she was vain.
Yeah, because she was pretty and she wanted to be pretty again. So that's extra money.
So there's that. There's also make it look like the invasion overall is doing okay. So not causing a giant hubbub while things are happening. Don't interrupt a very public sharing meeting or a community hall meeting or whatever. That's the easiest one to do because it's literally just don't do stuff. The last one, which I think is maybe the hardest one, is make it look like Visser 3 has won a critical victory during the time that the inspector is there. A victory that would mean that the front would need far less resources.
Yeah.
So the obvious one, Braden said, was make it look like he kills all the Andalite insurgents.
Yes.
But how do you do that? Don't forget, we don't even have the chi this time.
Especially because if you're having it be the Garbage-tron is the one who kills the Animorphs, how can you play that in your favor when, what if he can fly and he just hasn't found cause to do that yet? What if his farts are poisonous and he has special other powers,
Yeah.
I think somebody else would have to fake kill the Animorphs for that to work. Maybe Chapman even.
They faked their deaths before by quote unquote falling off cliffs. They could pull something like that again.
But I mean, they have bug fighters and stuff that can just check bodies, right?
Mm.
And also that was Dork-Bajir. They had extra Dork-Bajir to lie down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is a good question. I don't really know how to fake your own death. I mean, I guess the inspector doesn't have to be the actual one who lands the fatal blow.
Yeah.
Maybe if there's some way for them to, like, demorph really fast and be really small, then it can be like, oh, there's a flash of light from a Draken beam, and then all of a sudden the grizzly is gone, and they don't see the cockroach run away.
That could work.
You know, like, I don't know how that would work.
Like the sort of darker and potentially unethical way of doing it is get dead versions of the animals you're going to morph.
Oh, yo. Like in book 33 where they had the terminally ill hawk. They just sacrificed it to the Texans.
Right. So, okay, here's maybe a better, less gross solution. Get Cassie to look at people like, oh, like what? I mean, maybe we don't have enough time to do this, but which animals are on the list for euthanasia? Like whether it's at the zoo or at their barn.
But how can she just sneak them out, though? That's the thing. Like, she snuck out the one eagle, but this will be like 6 animals. How can they sneak them out?
Okay, here's a situation that probably no one will have a problem with. Bugs. How can we find a way to replace Animorphs with dead bugs, cockroaches, let's say?
Yeah, okay, they sneak into a sharing meeting somehow. Maybe Axe morphs like someone who looks like they're gonna be like, who could be at the meeting, but they know isn't. And they like spray the place in case of Animorph spies and then see a little bundle of 6 dead cockroaches.
Okay, but how about not Axe? Because he would be the
not
worst
Axe,
possible
but
choice.
Like somebody else, yeah. But Axe would be the only one who might not have a problem with morphing a human, is the thing.
Why do they have to morph a human? Because they're not revealing the fact that they're rebels. They're just there to drop the dead bug bodies off, right? That doesn't necessarily give them away.
It would be the easiest if you were a human to do that, to go into a meeting room.
Right. What I'm saying is have Jake go in, who would probably make the most sense because he's been the most
Jake's
worked
not here.
on.
Jake's not here, man.
He's the one guy who's not here.
Okay, maybe Rachel, because at least she's in contact. She's also the protagonist, so it would make sense. But she's in contact with Tom.
Yeah.
And also Jake's out of town, so maybe there's like a, my good influence is no longer here or whatever. Then she goes in and maybe points out 5 cockroaches, like looking
There'd have to be
suspicious.
6. There'd have to be 6.
Well, the thing is, I was thinking about that too. Like, it doesn't, right? Because killing 5 of the 6 Andalites is still a huge victory, right?
That is correct. Yeah, that would make a difference.
I feel like the Yerkson were going to be like, okay, we got them. I don't know.
What if you raid the spray raid? I mean, on a cockroach, because that's actually like it paralyzes them.
Yeah.
So you could, I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be alive. Who fucking cares? A dead roach that looks like it could be alive, and then just be like, look at those cockroaches acting crazy. They, I don't know. They look like, I guess you can't say Andalites because the idea is you're not a controller yet, right? But
yeah.
And then have the Animorphs do some kind of like something obvious, either thought speaking to the controller in charge or whatever, and then have them kind of like and see, this is a thing that we do often, but it's like have a confusing chase scene where you can like replace their bodies, dead roach bodies.
See, what I was thinking was we could just morph a controller who would get invited to like a secret meeting in the community center where everybody's scared, and then he could just like drop them in the corner, and it would be and nobody would recognize them. Like if Tom recognizes Rachel and then all of this happens, that might be suspicious, right? Especially because Rachel has had no real contact with Tom. She just hangs out with Jake.
Oh, is Tom in town though?
He is in town. He is watching the house.
Also, we can't morph humans. That's like a pretty clear rule.
Damn it.
But Axe can morph humans.
What? No, he can't.
He does. He has
You can morph
human
one
armor.
human.
I know, but that's like a pretty explicit rule they have, which is don't morph humans. Yeah.
I mean, they broke it in like book 21. Just break it one more time for this really good
We can't
plan.
keep breaking rules, otherwise we're just as bad as they are.
We're just as bad as they are.
This is Fanimorphs, Animorphs 2.0.
Animorphs Plus. Animorphs 1.01. You may not advance.
Animorphs New Game Plus. The protagonists are smart this time.
It's a double morphs. This time it's got 2 screens. I think before anything, like, okay, yeah, the plan to discredit Visser 3 is very good, but first, even just backing it up a little bit and just spying on Garrotron and being like, okay, Inspector, what's your whole deal? You and Visser 3 have a beef. What's up with that? Like, why is he here specifically?
Yeah, I guess the question is whether or not the risk of missing your window is enough to push you into action, you know?
Yeah.
I think the pointing out that he's like wasting resources might be a little bit hard, but also not impossibly hard. Axe could probably whip up some way to leave documentation in the Yeerk system, right? Considering
they don't use paper, it might be difficult to fake a paper trail.
God damn it, Tessa. No one's even going to understand what you're talking about.
Then have to go back to our back catalog.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be hard to slip in.
Yeah, you could he could hack her into their database and stuff.
Yeah. The only thing that would be hard is like the killing Andalites. Mind you, even if it was kind of confusing and if they're like, oh, we're not even really sure if it was the Andalites and like whatever, just then don't do anything for like a month. And then they'll be like, oh, shit. Yeah, maybe we did kill them. Yeah. And then, I mean, you could be doing stealth the whole time, right? You wouldn't just don't do attack stuff. Okay. I don't know. Are you satisfied with that? Or you feel like there's too many holes still?
I mean, there's always going to be holes.
I feel like there's the two, if they had to do something, that's the best plan that they could have. We just literally don't have enough information about why Garrotron is here and what's happening. But I think this is solid, just discrediting Visser 3. They'll cut funding, they'll cut resources, and also, Visser 3 will just get super fucking mad. And he does not make good choices when he's mad, so he'll go and, like, fight the Lyrians again, he'll try sharks again, anything. I still think it's very valid that they don't have to act. Like, they literally don't have to do anything.
Yeah, because the idea being that the more it looks like things are going all right, the more the Inspector won't feel like there's more resources needed.
And also, they won't feel the need to, like, appoint Visser 3 a supervisor to help him reach his quarterly goals.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess.
All right. Yeah, there we go.
I think that's about it. We can move on to our next segment. Everyday now. In this segment, we try to tackle an everyday situation that did or might have happened in this book. All the normal rules of morphing apply, so that's no morphing humans, no killing people or hurting people for no reason. The situation I picked this week was, how would you use morphing to deal with hanging out with your group of friends, or one of your group of friends, but that one quote-unquote integral friend isn't there?
Like the one core.
Well, it's usually the person who was there the longest who, like, introduced all the people to each other in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, or, like, the person who hosted the first thing that, like, the first party where everyone met each other or whatever. So that when that person's not there, it's a little bit like, you can get along, like, you're not at each other's throats, but there's
also
a
little awkward.
Yeah, there isn't that common thread anymore. So you kind of have to, like,
feels a little driftless. It's like when Mikhail leaves the podcast and Brayden and I have to fend for ourselves. It's like we're missing our supporting pillar. We're missing the trunk of our speaking tree.
Okay, that was a good analogy. Who wants to go first?
I couldn't think of any good reasons or any good things for this one, really. Like, mine are both kind of mean, but I think they're also coming from very honest places. Like, you can morph a dog and become the new integral friend of the group that nobody, you know, so you're just like the stand-in because everybody gets to pet a dog now.
Okay, that's not bad.
Just like morph a bird and go stalk the friend who's not there.
No, because you have to be hanging out with the group.
No, you just have to deal with hanging out with the group. So I would deal with it by leaving.
Sounds about right.
Bye. Oh, Joe Schmo isn't here. He's the only person I know and want to talk to. Bye, everybody else.
Better go watch him change clothes in his own house.
I'm gonna go hang out in front of his dentist's office. Hope he's got a window view.
I would probably have a morphing contest. Now, in my situation, everyone can morph, because the question is just how would you use morphing? So I don't know. It's a lot more interesting if everyone can morph, anyways. But there's ways around it. So the idea is we all have to morph the same thing, and then there's like a series of challenges. So like who can climb up the tree the fastest, or who can do the most backflips as a cat, or who can do like the funniest thing, and everyone votes on it, right? And you have to pick the same exact animal, otherwise it doesn't work out. And I guess one of the caveats too is like you have to pick something that can't kill people or can't like overrun your own ability to control their instincts.
Something you've been before.
That would help, although it might be hard for everyone to have been that thing before. But definitely not a
prey animal.
Right. Basically, this is the equivalent of like if you don't know your friends that well enough to just like chat, then do a puzzle instead.
I like this. You could also do like contests like, okay, we're all gonna morph something cute like a dog. Try and be like, as you morph, make the grossest possible dog human hybrid, and we'll vote on a winner.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
Brayden, what would you do if you how would you use morphing to deal with this kind of problem?
I would make a YouTube channel dedicated to quote unquote submitted funny animal videos. We could create the content working together, and then we could turn a tidy profit probably. And there's really nothing better for friendship than profit.
You're right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, now it's time for
My Life, My Morph.
In this segment, we decide on what the best use of the main morph in this book would be in our own lives. So, how would you guys use a cheetah morph for purely personal reason?
You know what? I'm not going to do the easy thing. Honestly, Austin is like a half fictional character. I would use it I would just like stalk the streets. I would just like stalk the streets and like freak people out. And then when they were like, I'm going to call 911, I'd be like, nope, I am running away.
Do you mean the UK hip hop artist, The Streets?
Yes.
Yeah, fuck that guy. I would use it to chill out in trees. Because...
Do cheetahs climb trees though?
Yes.
Do they?
They do.
And they like bring antelopes up there and shit.
No, that's jaguars, dude.
Jaguars? Not jaguars. Oh my gosh.
It's jaguars, y'all. Jaguars.
So I just Googled, can cheetahs climb trees? And there's quite a bit of pictures of them in trees. Most of them... Oh, here's the one on Wikipedia. It's a cheetah in a tree, and it's got the dead corpse of Tessa from the Dork-Bajir Chronicles.
Oh.
And she's been killed by facts.
Oh no.
Oh my god, yeah. It's like... It's the fucking spear of Longinus with the two prongs of facts and logic dug into her chest.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I'm dying. Ugh.
I would also use it to challenge my friends to races in their cars. Tessa, what would you do?
I would steal a bunch of diamonds. Hashtag callback. Because that's what David wanted to do with morphing powers. Actually, what I would do is Rachel described the great big lungs of the cheetah and how easy it was for them to breathe. And like, I would just do that because my asthma's been really bad lately. And I could use a break.
Get on that corticosteroid tip.
The only corticosteroid I need is a cheetah. Also, I asked Jared because I was having a hard time thinking of ideas, and he said, take a job as a loan shark or a lone cheetah in this case. And if someone owes you money, you can just catch them faster than anybody else.
That's not actually...
So it completely checks out. So like, I think that's the best answer.
After all, the only defense a sort of lone shirker has is to run away far from the broker? What?
Yep, that's the only thing. And because cheetahs have teeth, they can bite the money out of their pockets.
Yep, and out of their bank accounts too, I think. And obviously, if they're shirking the loan, they probably have the money, right? If they're shirking the loan.
Oh, yeah. No, they have the money. If they're shirking the loan, they have it. They just don't want to give it back because they want to use it for, like, food or something. Like.
All right. What did the smarter people on the internet say?
My favorite response to this so far from Superfan at Movie Polls on Twitter. Run away. Sweet cat of prey. I would run away. That's just golden. I fucking love that guy.
I think that's the best one. It's really good.
I fucking love that person.
Ziegler Jaguar also on Twitter says they would not make a feeble and lame attempt on Visser 3's lane. Yeah, pretty fair. Anyone else got any good ones?
Oh my god, Richard Phillips has a dark and twisted mind. With my impressive speed, I would chase my neighbor down the street, forcing her to run much faster than she would usually. I think she has a weak heart, and this should finish her off.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Brayden?
That's above and beyond the Call of Duty. We salute you.
From Instagram, MC_Reagan would use their morph throwing shit at cops and running away before I actually face the consequences of my actions. Also, improving my mile time.
I mean, by quite a bit, to the point where it's like a world record, yeah. Next time, we'll be talking about Animorphs number 38, The Arrival. Tagline for, or it's called, sorry, it's, yeah, The Arrival. Tagline is, Andalites have arrived. Andalites have reached Earth. Will Axe leave the Animorphs? ? Brayden, what are your
predictions?
Predictions.
It says it on the cover. Don't patronize me.
What Andalites? How about that? We have met a couple of other Andalites from like Dork-Bajir Chronicles and stuff. Do you think anybody will be making a reappearance, I guess?
Okay, you got me there.
Huh. Not so cocky now.
I think we are probably going to be seeing the return of... Okay, Axe is turning into an osprey. Well, they've still got to do like a mission or something, right? It's not just going to be like a coffee shop AU.
That would be dope, though.
They are going to... Oh, they're going to try to run a mission, but probably the Andalites want them to back off now that they are on the Earth. But the Animorphs still want to help out. So Axe is going to have to make a choice between disobeying a direct order from a full-on Andalite superior officer and sticking with his war prince and his war band.
Okay. Yeah, I like that prediction.
I think that's pretty good. I mean, that is basically the plot of... What was the Lear in Homeworld one?
Book 18. It was the mosquito one. That's all I remember.
Well, that's why Brayden remembers, because it's a spirit animal. Ha!
You can find more of our stuff on our podcast page at collectivelegacy.org or on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Facebook.
Remember to subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, or else I'll half morph and I won't unhalf morph.
Okay. You can also show your support for our show by subscribing to our Half Morphed Patreon page, patreon.com/DORKBAJIR.
We offer special bonuses for patrons, like access to our Discord server, Animorphs essays written by us, and much more.
Like, there's a level of Patreon where you just get those high-quality MP3s of Brayden burping in your ear for hours. But along with that, we also like to give a shout out to our patrons at the Dork-Bajir level or higher by giving them an Animorphs style title.
I'd like to give a big shout out to Steam Driven, the other half of the morph I'm stuck in between.
Spencer, Mr. Spence, the gents.
Elemist, the bluest blur.
Martha Urquhart, the corpse in my tree.
Anyanka, just chilling out for the weekend.
Greg Della Posta, the real leather handbag.
Michael Armenta, call me counselor.
Andrew Vila, Just the plane smashing into a building.
Whoa.
Wait, oh no! I take it back!
Shauna, you can't take back 9/11.
Holy shit. Mariah Wamby, the winner of the cheetah versus car race.
Zachary Vaudo, the dog in the middle of the friend group.
Nick, the novelty farming joke poster that is all over this office I'm recording in.
Anne-Marie Ellis, the only thing I'll spend my resources irresponsibly on.
Oh, that's sweet.
For the Fanimorphs, my name is Mikhail, the sugar daddy.
I'm Tessa, the salty daddy.
And I'm Brayden, the barbecue papa.
I thought you were going to say umami daddy.
And this has been Fanimorphs, the Dork-Bajir Chronicles.
Oh, guys, that legitimately made me kind of sad. Sorry, it's an inside joke thing. It just made me very sad to talk about being barbecue for reasons I will not disclose.
Cool. What a great joke that we're not allowed to learn about, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know you have a rich and storied history that you're never going to tell us.
Hi, hello, welcome to the ad for the show. I'm Mitch, the host of Whack Talk Radio. On this show, I talk to interesting people about interesting things. Do you need to know more than that? Okay, fine. Pretty much we'll talk about whatever my guest is interested in or passionate for. Sometimes it'll be silly, sometimes serious, sometimes a bit of both. Whatever the topic is, hopefully we'll find a way to make you that much more of an expert about it. You can find us at collectivelegacy.org, along with some other equally awesome shows on our network. New episodes of Whack Talk Radio are every Sunday and Thursday, wherever you find your podcasts. Let us know what you think on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Whack Talk Radio. That's WENGH Talk Radio.
Whack Talk Radio.
Brought to you by
Collective Legacy,
a podcast network.